Woo. Okay, I'm hoping the camera stays there. I'm hoping it does. So anyway, let me just pull this up first, because yeah, I want to go over the cast of the show we're about to talk about. So we're going to be talking about season 1 of the Scream Queens. Now you'll probably know that I talked about this briefly about watching it in my previous video. So yeah, unfortunately, this leaves on March 19th, so I know that it won't, that I probably won't have this review up because I have so much beforehand. But hopefully it goes to another platform, and if it does, I'll let everybody know over on my Instagram about what platform that ends up going to whenever this review does eventually come out. Come out. Because I just have so much ahead of this, and so much that I want to do in just a certain order. So this was, I guess, now I'm kind of disappointed because it would have been awesome to have like a longer it would have been awesome to have more seasons of this show, honestly. So Scream Queens, it doesn't take itself so seriously, which I kind of like. So it's like horror comedy, I guess, in a sense, with some actually really well-known actresses and actors. So we have Emma Roberts playing Chanel Oberlin, Leah Mitchell, or Leah Michelle, maybe? Is it Leah Mitchell or Leah Michelle? One of the two. I believe she was the one from Glee, was she not? Now, I never watched Glee. It just wasn't my thing. I do like certain musicals, and I did like Jane Lynch, but it's just, yeah, I've never really just never really got into the show. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know why, but it just wasn't my thing. Then we have Abigail Breslin, who we know from, obviously, the Zombieland movies, which I believe, yeah, I know I've done reviews of both those movies, and I'm pretty sure they're uploaded on my channel. Keke Palmer played Zayday Williams, Billy Lord played Chanel 3, and then we have the original Scream Queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis, who was absolutely fabulous in this show. I have watched it before, but I wanted to go back and watch it before it actually does leave Netflix. She played Dean Cathy Munch, and then I guess we had oh yeah, I guess Riley Schmidt played the Red Devil. Glenn Powell played Chad Radwell. Oliver Hudson played Wes Gardner. Is that Niecy Nash played Denise Hemphill? See, I think I know her from something else. Was she in maybe one of the... Oh, Reno 911. Okay, that's where I know her from. Was she in one of the Scary Movies, too, by chance? Oh, she's been the voice of people on Family Guy. Oh, she was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Okay. So yeah, I know her from a few things. Oh, she was in the movie Bad Teacher. Okay. Okay, so I guess, oh, American Dad. She did voices for American Dad. Alright, so I do know her from a few things, I guess. Oh, she was in Horton Hears a Who. Okay. I swear to God, maybe I'm just thinking of somebody else. But I thought she was in one of the Scary Movies. I guess it's not the woman I'm thinking of then. They just look very similar. Skylar Samuels played Grace Gardner. Diego Botnet played Pete Martinez. Nassim Pedrad played Gigi Caldwell. Who else was in the first season? Yeah, Breezy Eslin played Jennifer. That's kind of a secondary character, though, I suppose. And Nick Jonas played Boone Clemens. And Ariana Grande played Chanel No. 2. So, basically, it's the sorority, Kappa Kappa Tau. And I guess they kind of pick based off of looks, really, until... Sorry about that, I just really had to blow my nose. until Grace comes along and tries, until Grace and Zayday come along and try to change the rules a little bit, which actually does end up working in their favor. But they have this killer, the Red Devil Killer, and who was Hester's character? Who played Hester? Oh yeah, Leah Michelle played Hester. Okay, so yeah, we have this whole situation in the, I guess I think was it 1995? Yeah, I guess, because the next year they skipped to was 2015. Yeah, so in 1995 we have this baby that's born in this bathtub, and then the mother ends up dying at this party, and eventually we find out that there were actually two babies born, and one of them was a boy, one of them was a girl. And they do a really good job, actually, in the first season of you never really finding out who the killer is, and how everybody just kind of like tries to double cross one another in order to accuse the other person of possibly being the killer. And I think at one point, yeah, they finally found out that there's like 2 or 3 different people doing the killings, and Pete, who was Grace's boyfriend for part of the show, and who played her dad, actually? I think I forgot to mention her dad. Oh no, Oliver Hudson played Wes Gardner. Yeah, I said that, okay. Yeah, so what was I just saying before that? Oh my god, I totally lost my train of thought there for a second. So yeah, great. Yeah, when they did a really good job of, yeah, not like, yeah, and there was like 3 different killers. That's where I was at one point. So obviously we have this Hester, who we find out is actually the second baby born, and then we have Boone, who ends up being killed at one point by Pete, because he believes that, I guess, the goal of what Boone is doing is actually for the greater good, I suppose, which is kind of an odd way to go about it, but Grace ends up falling in love with Pete at one point, and then her dad is accused of being the killer. Obviously, Dean Munch is accused of being the killer. Now, Dean Munch does actually kill somebody. She does kill her ex-husband. Now, I can't remember the name of the girl that her ex-husband was with now. Oh, I really wish I could. Damn. Yeah, she was like almost like a third, like not even like a secondary character, because she was only ever in one episode. But anyhow, the girl that Dean Munch's ex-husband is with now, she ends up killing her ex-husband just to get back at this girl, because I guess she was a pledge at one point in time from a while ago, but then she ended up being kicked off the campus because of Dean Munch. So it's, yeah, it is kind of hard to kind of filter who the actual killers are throughout the entire season, unless you're like a really good detective yourself, or sometimes I feel shows really give it away, but in this one they did a good job of really confusing you as to who the killer was, because the show made you think it was one person in one episode, and then it would totally switch and make you think it was another person, and then obviously it became a little more obvious as the season went on that Boone was definitely one of the killers, but you didn't really know who the other killer was. At one point, Grace thought maybe she was the other baby in the bathtub due to the fact of, I guess, her father's kind of college experience, as he was kind of wild and crazy and slept with a lot of women when he was in college, and I guess she finds out a lot of stuff about her mom in the throughout the season, thanks to Chanel Oberlin, who is the top Chanel in the of Kappa Kappa Tau, and then we have the Dickie Dollar Scholars, who I guess are well known for their golf game, I think, is their whole kind of thing. And at one point, Pete tries to like infiltrate them to see if one of them is potentially the killer. And then when he finds out it's Boone, he ends up joining Boone for some reason. I don't know why he did that, but Chad Radwell is Chanel's boyfriend, and oh my god, I don't know how him and the woman who played Denise Hemphill end up or how they keep a straight face through their roles, because Denise believes that Zayday is the killer of the entire show, even though there's absolutely zero evidence pointing Zayday to the murders, and she ends up actually getting captured by one of the Red Devils at one point in time. So it's just absolutely hilarious that, Denise even blames Zayday for anything, even after Hester somehow gets away with everything, basically, by shoving a uh, stiletto heel into her eye, somehow not damaging her. I don't know how she described it. Somehow not doing any damage to her eye. She goes into more depth about how to do it, and I guess, yeah, it really proves how crazy she actually is and how far she'll go, because she ends up coming up with this elaborate plan and, like, elaborate story as to how all the Chanels were the murderers. So it's just, yeah. But I guess when you're crazy and you want to get away with something, that's the only really real way to do it, is to come up with some sort of story as to how you definitely could not be the killer, and even though all the evidence points to you, how to kind of swing it so that it points to somebody else. And then, yeah, all the Chanels would have gotten away with it if Chanel Oberlin hadn't opened her mouth and actually said that the jury was not actually a jury of her peers, because they totally changed their verdict right at the last second. So they end up going to this asylum, and I guess eventually once they get there, they don't really actually want to leave, so that was kind of funny. And I guess now we'll see where Hester goes from here. Yeah, because I can't remember exactly what happens in the second season. And I know there's a different killer in the second season, so that's kind of why I wanted to do this season by season. Like, I just wanted to review season 1 first and then season 2 second. Because, yeah, the whole story changes and the location changes, and there's a bunch of different things going on in the second season, and whole new cast of characters. So it's going to be kind of really hard. I don't think Grace is in the second season. I think it's just the Chanels and obviously Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Dean Munch, but I don't think she goes by Dean anymore, because they're trying to run a hospital and things just get really weird in this season too. So, yeah, I'm going to dive into this one and try and see if I can remember everything that happens, because, yeah, I think the second season, I think I might have liked it a little bit more, but so far, for season 1, I'm going to rate season 1 a 10. Now, the show overall on IMDb has a 7.2 rating, so I feel like that's kind of low for this series, because I actually am really enjoying it, watching it through again. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what the second season, what I rate it. But I would say I'll give it like a rating of the show overall at the end. But yeah, as for season 1, it is going to be a 10 out of 10. I recommend going to watch the show if you have a chance. I feel like it's kind of one of those like hidden Netflix gems. They kind of comes around once in a while, you know. But one of the good ones, because sometimes I go into the hidden gem section and I just don't find that much. But usually it's a good section to go into on Netflix if you ever can't find anything to watch. I would say this is kind of like one of those hidden ones that not a lot of people have heard of, unless you're like a really big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. Obviously, I am, because of the Halloween movies. Huge fan of like the slasher genre, so this kind of fits into it with the comedy aspect, which I really love, because I am a humor guy, and I like shows that can be serious, but also don't take themselves too seriously. And yeah, her comedy is just so well delivered that, yeah, it's just funny. It just works. The show just works really, really well, with the horror and comedy aspect, both together. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can say about season 1, without going crazy and talking for like 20-30 minutes, because I don't want to do that any longer. I feel like when I do that, I just explain way too much. So, yeah, definitely go and watch the show for yourself if you get a chance to. And like I said, if it goes to another platform like Amazon, Disney, Crave, or if it goes to Hulu, I might not find out about it, because I think Hulu's still only available in the States. So if it goes there, I guess one of you guys would have to let me know down in the comments below for anybody who's watching this from the States, or anywhere else. If it's not available on a certain streaming service wherever you live, yeah, comment it down below to let everybody know where to go find this show after it does end up leaving Netflix. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.